All right, so the purpose of today's demonstration is going to be to review how the purchase management application works in conjunction with the requirements that you presented to me most recently. First and foremost, I want to just go over the users, some of the fundamentals here. Go to users, you'll see I have a purchase manager, which is what I'm signed in as now. And there's a typical PO user, which is in this database here. Here's typical PO user. So the way it can work is pretty simple. I mean, this is going to be the approval workflow. This is why I designed the multiple users. So before we get into that, let's first look over the fundamentals of the purchase application. You'll see when you click into purchases, you'll be prompted to the RFQ screen. Up here, you'll see we can see all of our RFQs, we can see all of our purchase orders, we can see purchase agreements, we can see our vendors and our products. You can click into any of these at any time. You'll see an overview of the vendor. You can see the supplier ledger, any POs associated to this vendor, and vendor bills. In addition to that, you can see products as well. A list of all your products that are purchasable, and you'll see those here. You can see the cost, the sale price, internal reference or SKU, and all that. You can even go ahead and associate this product here to a vendor, a price, a vendor product code, vendor product name, lead time from this particular vendor for this product to be received, that kind of stuff. If you buy in certain multiples and get price discounts based on those multiples, then you'll be able to define those rules here as well. So with that, in addition to that, you'll see here you can see a list of all your incoming products. You can also see a list of all your vendor bills. From a reporting standpoint, you'll have some data once we begin to actually generate POs. And then from a configuration standpoint, you can go to settings, manage order approval, purchase agreements, define warnings at the purchase order level, lock confirmed orders, control invoicing from vendors here based on ordered or delivered quantities. You can have three-way matches between purchases, receipts, and bills, and then a vendor price list. So this will allow you to specify specific pricing rules that you have at the product level per vendor. There's a few other things here like units of measure and whatnot that you can look into as well. So getting into create an RFQ. It's very simple. Before I do that, I just want to exit the debug mode that I'm in. Create an RFQ, you just click create, and you'll be prompted to this screen here. You'll see in the top left, these are called the next action buttons. These are the next logical step in a workflow. You'll see also there's the request for quotation. Right, I can fill out the vendor reference number. If there's a purchase agreement I want to associate this to, I can do that. It will populate line items automatically. I'll see here an order date, and here I'll have a list, of course, of my purchase order lines where I can specify on the line all the products, the quantities, the scheduled dates, the descriptions, unit price, taxes, and then subtotal of what I want to purchase from this vendor. In addition to that, in deliveries and invoices, your scheduled date will be set. You can set it to all order lines, but this is when to expect to receive this particular PO. You can see the intercom, which international commerce terms and a series of predefined commercial terms used in international transactions, payment terms here for this vendor, and fiscal position, which gets into taxes and whatnot. So before I fill this out as the purchase manager, I'd like to go here. So now here, purchase manager, typical PO user. So as a typical PO user, I will go into the system. I will submit an RFQ to my manager. I will say I want 10 units of product X, scheduled date, we'll just say it's the 13th. Total here. We can have terms and conditions as well. So once I realize this is what I want, I will just click confirm order, and it will send this to my, just check this for a second. Nothing to bill. Yep, so that is an example of how you can just create a PO, and once it's confirmed, it will automatically generate the incoming shipment in the inventory application to manage the receipt of 10 units of product X. And I can access that incoming shipment by going here, and you'll see there's something called the warehouse in receipt, which will be used to bring those 10 units in. Very simple. Once I have them arrive at my dock, I just type in 10, and I click validate, and it brings 10 units into my stock. And I can see from an inventory standpoint, when I would have seen those 10 units here in the receiving had I not already received them. Go to inventory valuation. You'll see we have 10 units at a value of $9.90 on hand. If you want to know more about where those units are, you go to inventory at the current value, or current date, drill in. You can see you have 10 units in warehouse stock 1, and I can drill into that and see the picking moves, and I can see it came from my vendor to my warehouse stock 10 units via this reference receipt at 10:13 a.m. on June 12th. So that's stock moves and basic purchase order rules. Now if I go to here, the reason why that didn't, if I set minimum amount to $0 for order approval, it will pretty much spark a approval for any PO assuming that it's greater than $0, the total value. So if I go back to my view as the typical PO user and I create another PO, you'll see no RFQs, but if I go to purchase orders, I'll see I can see one PO that's done and currently waiting for the vendor bills. But I'll go create an RFQ. Internet died, just give it a second to come back on. There we are. So I can vendor X, list down here, say I want to order 100 units of product X, save it. When I click confirm order, this tells my manager that this is what I want. You'll see it goes to the to approve stage. And now as a project manager, I go in purchase manager, I go to purchases, I look at the POs here, and I have a filter that shows me what do I have to approve. And I can also see the status here. So I click to approve. It shows me you have to approve this. I can look at this document, see it's to approve. I can always approve order. That's the next logical step in the workflow. I can see down here the typical PO user created it, put the amount, and sent it to approval for me at this particular time at 10:15:05 seconds today. And once I confirm that this is in fact okay, I can click approve order. And again, order has been approved. You'll see the incoming shipment generated. Vendor bills can be managed here. So if I open vendor bills and I create a new vendor bill, it'll automatically apply the line item just like that. If I want to apply a different PO, I could apply 2 POs to one vendor bill if I want to, that way. Taking a step back, we can talk about vendor bills in a little bit, but for now, let's look at the incoming shipment again. You'll see when I look at this through the lens of the inventory app, I have one to receive here. And I can open it. It's warehouse in receipt number 2, vendor X, scheduled date, the purchase order it's affiliated with, and the status. And you'll see it's for the 100 units. And once in a typical environment of, warehouse environment, you would print out a picking operation here. This picking would show you, right, all the details, the warehouse address, the partner. Here's the barcode that you could scan. So when you're in your warehouse, you would scan, if you have a scan gun and you don't want to be messing around with any hardware like a computer or tablet, you would scan this barcode. It would bring up this picking in a system. Well, then you would scan your products. If it's a pack of 100, for instance, you would scan that. It would fill the quantity. And then when you scan a barcode that represents validate, it would push that quantity into this destination location. And you'll see when I do that here, it's done. Those have been moved to stock. And when I go to reporting inventory valuation, see we have a total of $10,890 worth of product X at a quantity of 110 on hand. So that is, in a nutshell, the receipt process. Now, when I go to purchases, control, incoming products, there'll be none. Vendor bills, there are none yet created. So what I do now is I go to my purchase orders and I can create vendor bills from here. There it is for $9.90. I'm paying for this. If I want to double up and add another PO to this vendor bill, I can do that as well. But the way vendor bills work when accounting is installed is as follows. You'll see that there's a journal, vendor bills, who's responsible, purchase manager, the accounts payable. When I validate this, watch right here, it will post the journal entries. Just like that. Accounting date has been captured and the journal entries have been posted. And I can drill into those and see that accounts payable has been credited, stock interim received has been debited, and the label here. Now, let's back out of this. You'll see up here the breadcrumb trail allows us to back up into any point of the workflow. You'll see this PO has a shipment and a vendor bill associated to it. From an accounting standpoint, you'll see here I have one payment that I'm waiting to make for $9.90 that I'm waiting yet to issue. If I open it, you'll see here there's the vendor bill. It's open here, the status. So how do I register a payment? I go to purchases, payments, create a new payment, select the vendor this payment's to, select the amount. If I'm doing manual or a check, that's fine. Make sure it's send money, payment date, memo, transaction, all that. Once I confirm, it posts the journal entries for the payment, and I can see them here. Now, it's time to reconcile. I could click here, quick payment matching. It'll automatically allow me to click both of those and reconcile that payment. Or I could also access this same view by going to Advisor Manual Reconciliation. Once I reconcile, this cute thing comes up and your payments have been reconciled to that vendor. So now if I go to purchases, vendor bills, and I open up this vendor bill, I see it's marked as paid as of 6/12/2018. I see the purchase manager was the one who was responsible for this particular record transitioning to a new stage, the stage from open to paid. I can also, if I want, drill in to these journal entries and look at reconciled entries and see that the payment has been reconciled against the bill with a matching number of A1. And that is, in a nutshell, how vendor bills get paid. And of course, if I go to my GL here, you can see accounts payable, those two items here listed out. And of course, stock interim received as well to balance. So that's accounting in conjunction with purchases. From a reporting standpoint, you can always do a pivot. You can see here product quantity, average price of the vendor. You can drill deeper into see the product that is being referenced or the list of all products. You can look up here and look at the date approved, see what's been approved in week 24 or what has been approved in the month of June or what has been approved on June 12th, and a total up here listed. This is all exportable out to Excel as well as into Google Sheets. You can also save these as onto a dashboard, these sorts of views. Okay, so in a nutshell, that is how purchasing and approvals works. Another thing that was mentioned in their list of requirements is how do we save time and duplicate purchase orders. So if you see a purchase order here that you want to reuse, you can always go to Action, Duplicate, and it will immediately create a new RFQ indicated here in the stage with all the appropriate line items specified, which you can then go ahead and approve and confirm. And because I'm the purchase manager, when I confirm this, I don't need approval. It automatically approves the order and generates all the necessary logistics, including shipment and vendor bill creation. So that is how the duplication process can work. Yeah, I mean, as far as the basics go there, if there's anything else that I didn't cover that you want me to drill into, please do let me know, and I'll be happy to create another video for you. Thanks so much, and yeah, appreciate your time.